Hi, everybody. I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon
Deacon
Dave
Dave
and
and
Layperson
layperson
Lisa
Lisa
show.
show.
Welcome back to our class and everyone else listening. And Lisa has gone rogue with a supplementary book
Yes,
by one of my favorite authors,
Ronald Rohrhauser.
Ron Rolheiser.
Okay,
Exactly.
yeah.
And the book is called Sacred Fire.
And more specifically, it's on chapter 6, which is drawing strength from prayer. So this episode is a is from Sacred Fire, and the book contains a poem by Grace Nossums. I got up early one morning and rushed right into the day. I had so much to accomplish, I didn't have time to pray. Problems just tumbled about me, and heavier came each task. Why doesn't God help me? I wondered. He answered, You didn't ask. I wanted to see joy and beauty, but the day toiled on, gray and bleak. I wondered why God didn't show me. He said, But you didn't seek. I tried to come into God's presence. I used all my keys at the lock. God gently and lovingly chided, My child, you didn't knock. I woke up early this morning and paused before entering the day. I had so much to accomplish that I had to take time to pray.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
So we have to give God our first fruits
yes.
in everything that we do. And I think another reason why that's so important is because, did I just say important like you do?
I don't know.
It's getting scary now, people. Is is my mind is much more settled most of the time.
Mhm,
Not all of the time.
mhm.
The last couple of days it hasn't been as settled when I've got up. But most of the time I haven't really entered into whatever I've got to do that day. And that's the best time, I think, to sit down with God when we're probably the most receptive to being able to hear his voice, at least for me.
Yeah, I think that's what most people, even if they're not necessarily morning people, because by the time the end of the day comes, it's you're trying to get ready for the next day, or you're so tired that
Yeah.
you fall asleep. So I think that's why it's so important to pray early in the day when you first wake up.
Yeah, because we need God's divine help on this journey, right?
Hmm.
And because life is long, some days are really long. And if we're not leaning in Him at the very beginning of the day, not making Him a priority, might be a little bit more difficult day than what we had hoped for.
Well, what did you say the other day? If you're not leaning into God, you're leaning away from Him.
Yeah, if you're not falling into God,
Uh,
you're falling down. And I think a
okay.
lot of times when we go day after day and we don't have a prayer life, we eventually you're going to stand on your own for a while, but eventually you're going to fall.
Yeah.
So prayer helps us to actually fall into God to give us what a sustenance that we need along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need His divine energy
Oh, yeah.
in order to be able to get through the day. So I guess the bottom line is, Lisa,
Be a person of
got
prayer.
to be a person of prayer. So let's talk a little bit more about what the fruits of prayer are that you've seen in life.
Oh, so when I used to work at a pharmacy, a lot of times I would go to the Blessed Sacrament chapel beforehand, and then I felt like it really helped me be more patient with the customers. And then when I wouldn't do, like, then I went to a different location, and then I found myself being a lot less patient with
But
people.
you couldn't go to the
Mhm,
Blessed Sacrament Chapel, right? Because
mhm.
it wasn't on the way.
Right.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So part of it is we just have to give up self-reliance, right?
Yeah.
Control and performance. And when we do that and we kind of give it over to God, especially in our prayer life, then He can help us to be the person that He's calling us to be in this life. And
Yeah.
I know I think it's real easy because a lot of things can happen and we can get busy, we can get tired, like we said, and all of a sudden we can become really grouchy.
Hmm.
And grouchy is not a fruit of the spirit, last
Right.
time I checked.
Right.
And so God gives us what we don't have on our own, especially when, all of our systems are going in the wrong direction, right?
Right.
And so we have to be really aware of that. So what are the takeaway questions for today?
What changes in yourself have you seen as a fruit of prayer? And what does life look like when you are struggling to pray?
Wow. So here's the important thing to remember right from our first episode on prayer. Even when we are struggling in our prayer
Mhm.
and we maybe feel like it's dry and nothing's going on, remember, God is still present and He's still working. I'm Deacon
I'm
Dave.
like Person Lisa.
See you next time.
Bye.